This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're gonna be typing one of the people that Handy wanted us to type is DEADMAU5, right? One of his
Mm,
favorite
the DJ.
oh, so you know him, PC? You fucking know him,
Yeah,
huh?
you didn't say it right the first time.
But I
Yeah,
don't know
Dead
the
Mouse.
fucking
Yeah, the
guy's name,
DJ.
bro.
Yeah,
Some weirdo, some I don't know what
yeah.
you want to do. I don't know. I don't really know him like that. So we're gonna be figuring out his personality type. We're gonna be looking at him. We're gonna be leaning more on PC and Zara right here, right? Because me and Henley have looked at him before, so we're gonna be looking at them and see what their conclusion is, and we're gonna comparing them, and we're gonna find out his true personality type. You guys know that we use Linda Berens Interaction Styles and Temperament combined with cognitive functions. These guys are one of the best. I'm telling you, I'm not even lying. If you're gonna come to our channel, these guys are gonna be the most likely the guys to type you. Very patient, very knowledgeable what they say, and they understand the cognitive functions. Like I tell a lot of people, like they go and get typed by people, and then you ask them what a cognitive function is. Like you want to just fuck them up. You want to fuck somebody up. Ask them what NI is. You will see them like fucking just like losing their mind, like spouting at the mouth when you ask them what does introvert intuition mean, right? But these guys right here, they know their shit, right? They're one of the best. Like I'm telling you straight up,
Hmm.
out of my community, I think these guys are the best. So it's great to see those guys on the call with me, and we can find his personality type. Healy's not here to fucking talk his ass off. Anything you guys want to say before we get into this?
No, man. Let's hit it.
Yeah,
Same.
yeah. Nothing. You don't say nothing. You know the
No.
DJ. You know DJ.
No.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty much all I know is that Dead Mouse is he's a DJ that's been around. I don't know for like a decade now. I guarantee you've heard of one of his songs in the top 10. I guarantee it.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So you just probably didn't know who it is. It's spelled dead, and I think the S is a five, I believe. Yeah.
Mhm.
And he usually
Hmm.
wears some kind of mask or something over his face, so you probably wouldn't actually know what he looks like. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Mm.
I think Henny was saying that he's either ESFP, ISTP, or ENTP. So like maybe the mouse. Maybe you can explain it. If we find his personality type, maybe you can give us some insights about that PC if you're an ISTP, because you're an ISTP.
Yeah,
So
man.
So, guys, this is the personality dummy base. They have him as scroll down ISTP, guys. Um, they got him as an ISTP. We have our chart over here, handy dandy chart. So ISTPs are right here.
Hmm.
They're the finisher type. So they're direct, they're responding. Um, they are concrete, the TIFE, the SENI. They're responding and their motive based, right? They're gonna be talking about the motives of a lot of things. If he meets those metrics, we'll call him an ICP. If he doesn't, we'll find his actual personality type. Is he the same personality type as PC? We have an ICP with us, guys. So this is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Um,
Hmm.
all right, you guys ready?
Hmm.
Go for it, man.
You know, I can't wrap my head around that, but you do you, boo.
Well, how old were you when this was happening?
Like 13, 14? I don't know, dude. It's
That
a blur.
young?
I was young. I was a kid.
Well, let's
I
go
was,
to.
I was still, I was, it was probably like grade 7. So, yeah, probably when I was like 13.
This stuff is fascinating to me. Let's dive into your childhood. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the thriving metropolis of Niagara Falls, Ontario. So the pretty side of Niagara Falls. So we had because the falls is actually on the American side. Mm-hmm. So, but we get the view, which is pretty funny. Yeah, they're like, we want the falls. We're like, fine, have them. You know, it's like a big thing, right? And you have to look over to see them. And they're like, okay, fine. So that's where they drew the line, I guess. And yeah, it was interesting, man, because it's
Yo, what you guys think about that?
Dude, is he on drugs or is he just super fucking like belt fed with his mouth?
Yeah, I don't know if he's
That's
on
the one
drugs.
thing I hate about some of these typing sessions is you never know, since they're artists, they could be on something.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Um,
That's what I think too. What would you say to that, Zara? What are you thinking?
Dude, the dude. I mean, it could be a lot of things, bro. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's on and some kind of amphetamine. Just the way he's fucking talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Anything, Zara, before we keep going?
Just wanted to synthesize a little bit, trying to get an overarching thing.
All right.
It's a very like touristy place. So growing up, your destiny was working at Marineland or a hotel or, you know, some tourist attraction thing. You know what I mean? That was it. Like it's very tourism. Well, it still is, I guess, but like that was your destiny. Yeah. And so part of grade school was like I'm seeing it now is that they would teach a lot of French and Spanish and stuff like that so that you could accommodate, you know, like, because you're gonna, you know what I mean? It's like it's this.
All right, so I'm gonna help you guys out.
Dude, this is sounding informing as fuck, dude.
Informative.
He is all over the shop.
So what I'm gonna say right there is that sounds very SENI. They would teach a certain thing, right?
And Destiny's pretty NI, yeah.
So they would teach a certain thing. So just go back, catch it. I'm getting SENI to help you guys out. Like, you know, let's listen to him.
There was a point where, you know, two people could be connected at the same time, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm talking to a guy in Toledo for free, like, or ish, you know what I mean? You still have to pay long distance if you had to call a BBS in Toledo, right? But it was just, it blew my mind.
Dude, this dude,
you know, I was like, oh, what are you
this
doing?
dude is
I'm talking to a person, and they're like, okay, that's neat, you know. I can't wrap my head around that, but you do you, boo.
Well, how old were you when this was happening?
Hey,
You do you, boo.
Pragmatic. Sounds
statement.
pragmatic.
Yeah, it's pragmatic.
Yeah.
Statement.
yeah, dude, the way he's coming off conversationally, man, I'd have to say he's extroverted. Either that, or he's on some really good drugs.
Yeah,
because like he's basically taken the lead in this conversation the whole fucking time.
It sounds
Barely
pretty
giving the other guy a word in.
If I could get a word in edgewise, I think he's informative, most likely.
okay, let's see you.
13, 14? I don't know, dude. It's a
That
blur.
young.
I was young. I was a kid.
Well, let's go.
It was probably like grade 7. So yeah, probably when I was like 13.
This stuff is fascinating to me. Let's dive into your childhood. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the thriving metropolis of Niagara Falls, Ontario. So the pretty side of Niagara Falls. So we had because the falls is actually on the American side. So, but we get the view, which is pretty funny. Yeah, they're like, we want the.
That sounds like some.
We get the view.
That sounds like some TESE kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds like SENI. Like we get the view, we get the whatever. Like we get the view, we get.
Yeah, but he was also talking
out.
about the pretty side, which could. We're saying we lived on the pretty side. That could be a T comparison, but I'm not going to lock that in.
Yeah. I mean, you say that. Hey.
False. We're like, fine, have them. You know, it's like a big thing, right? And you have to look over to see them. And they're like, okay, fine. So that's where they drew the line, I guess. And yeah,
That's where they drew the line. SENI. We can see that.
Yep.
yeah, it was interesting, man, because it's a very like touristy place. So growing up, your destiny was working at Marineland or a hotel.
Talking about your future, NI,
Yeah, and
SENI.
I was thinking that.
Or
but
you know, some tourist attraction thing, you know what I mean? That was it. Like it's very tourism. Well, it still is, I guess, but like that was your destiny. Yeah. And so part of grade school was like I'm seeing it now is that they would teach a lot of French.
They would teach a lot of French. SE, the people. Would teach a lot of French.
Yeah, there's not too much ice. You know, like this. My experience.
So can we go ahead and knock off SE? Can we knock off SE?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and knock off SE. All right, we understand that this guy's SE and I. Is that like Kenny said, like he's an interesting guy. So we got SE and I guys, and being SE and I, That eliminates this, pretty much this, this, and this. Right? These types cannot be SENI based off his personality type because he's an SENI user. He's talking about the experiences that other people can validate around him. Right? It's important to see that he's talking about the experiences that everybody else can validate around him. Like if me and Zara was to hold the experience, I would talk about the experience from a perspective that like PC and Zara could talk about it the same way. And that's what he's talking about. Like those people can validate them. It's not an internal experience, whatnot. So gone. SENI.
And Spanish and stuff like that, so that you could accommodate, like, because you're gonna, you know what I mean? It's like it was kind of
You could accommodate. I think that's FE.
depressing when you think about it now, but they really kind of groomed you up to be in the service industry if you lived in Niagara Falls for a minute. Not too many people that I know like kind of got out and went and did.
Not too many people. SE, right? Like
SE, and then there was the statement prior.
Yeah.
Not Niagara Falls things.
Were you in the service industry?
No, I escaped it. Like, I mean, I just didn't do anything. I was just a little shit in my mom's house playing on the computer, like trying to think of a way out,
Yeah.
I'm not saying like that's every kid.
Trying to think about a way out. I could say it's pragmatic, right? Can we eliminate from pragmatic?
Yeah, SP temperament for sure.
So we got pragmatic here. So being pragmatic, that means that this guy is more has a utilitarian mindset. He's more about his own freedom. So being pragmatic, that eliminates this, right there.
Yeah, the logistical and the diplomatic.
So we basically looking at ESTP, ENTJ, ISTP, INTJ, and ISFP. That's what we're looking at right now, based on this. Zara looking at, he's like, this guy's an SP. Zara's already
I mean it's his core temperament is about freedom.
Yeah. You're right.
Like in doing his own, in carving his own path or things like that, and doing something spontaneous. So and if you read Linda Berens' book on it, so
100% agree with you. PC
Yeah.
Oh, yep. He's covered it, man.
I don't want to knock it off already, but we're going a little bit more. But I think we're gonna be able to see this guy's concrete.
Niagara Falls. I might be over exaggerating that, but that's what it felt like. You know what I mean? So
yeah. What were you into?
FI.
I was into music and computers, and computers were so like a fad. People weren't using them at work, or for work. Or anything.
People wouldn't use.
See,
people weren't doing this. People weren't doing that.
Technology for SE user, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Like that, because these things were coming out. It was like the dawn of the 286. You know what I mean? Which was like the Hobby Machine Plus. And they didn't really have courses in school that had anything to do with a computer, but they did. When I started getting to high school, they started to introduce networking, simple things or whatever, and that was cool. But like the computer when I was a kid wasn't a tool; it was more of like a hobby machine. It was like a Nintendo Plus, for whatever, So yeah, we had a typewriter,
So you grew up in the age where you went from the typewriter to the computer. So how did you get into computers?
Well,
like what was the fascination?
The fascination was the little PC speaker, the beep. That's it. There were no DACs. There were no sound cards. The first computers that I owned, they were just like little PC speakers, and they could just emulate monophonic tones and stuff like that. And at that time too, my parents enrolled me into like classical piano and stuff, just like shit to do after school till they're done work, and then I go home kind of thing. So I did that for a while, and I got a lot of like classical like kind of drilled into me, and I was a little reluctant. Because it was we spent more time like doing drills than farting around, playing.
So much SE, bro. It's
SE.
insane. Like, this is a great video to like see what SE is like. This is a great fucking video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by the profound usage of it, it's probably his hero function just for everyone at home.
A hero or a parent. It's got to be something. It's got.
I would lean towards his hero, but like this is crazy amount of SE.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Songs I like, or something like that. And I developed really great muscle memory, like, so that I think in some alternate reality I would have been a great pianist, but I like the computer. And
Got some
Was that progression?
That was some
Yeah.
progression. That was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some progression. There was some NE coming out a little bit. So if he's any demon, I don't think you're gonna get into that. But let's keep going.
I wanted
It's
to
weird.
do what I was doing there on the computer, but there was no software really available for PC. Mind you, we had
PC.
Atari STs, which were early PCs that ran BASIC as an operating system, and they had some music making capability, but it was MIDI only, meaning that the computer itself didn't produce audio.
The thing about when I'm talking to this guy, and the way that he's talking, I'm gonna ask you a real logical question. Does he sound like T.I. Trickster? He does not. He does not. He's too invested into the system behind everything and understanding it. Like, we go into it, it's like it's way too in depth. It's way too in depth. It's way too in depth. So that's how you can tell the difference between, like, if you're in the you're looking at really, we're looking at like based off Zara here, and I agree when we're looking at either ESFP or ISTP. So like you're looking at like
Fascination was the little PC speaker, the beep. That's it. There were no DACs. There were no sound cards. The first computers that I owned, they were just like little PC speakers, and they could just emulate monophonic tones and stuff like that. And at that time too, my parents enrolled me into like classical piano and stuff, just like shit to do after school till they're done work, and then I go home kind of thing. So I did that for a while, and I got a lot of like classical like kind of drilled into me, and I was a little reluctant. Because it was we spent more time like doing drills than
we spent more time
farting around, playing songs I like,
And progression.
or something like that. And I developed really great muscle memory, like, so that I think in some alternate reality I would have been a great pianist, but I liked the computer, and I wanted to
That was
do
abstract.
what I was doing there on the computer, but there was no software really available for PC. Mind you, we had Atari STs, which were early PCs that ran BASIC as an operating system, and they had some music making capability, but it was MIDI only, meaning that the computer itself didn't produce audio; it just produced MIDI signals.
See, what I'm saying here is he's going in depth about his process of learning, right? And if you're talking about TI person, they're gonna go in depth about the understanding. And when you talk about TE child, I mean, I posted a fucking clip about fucking Floyd Mayweather. He couldn't even tell you the difference between amino acids and fucking protein was. I'm like, this nigga talking about amino acids like it's protein. And then he said, monohydrates, you got to stay hydrated. Like, there's a difference. There's surface level to it, right? This guy's going in depth about everything he's doing.
To be fair, Floyd Mayweather's pretty remedial.
I mean, it's just to be honest, I'm telling you, ESFP is just different. Because we're looking
Yeah,
at
I know, but I don't think
looking at ESTP versus ISTP, and you can see he's going in depth about everything he does. Keep going.
Yeah.
Signal to go to synthesizers that had that capability to do it, and there were very few and far between, as there is today, for that kind of thing. And it was really expensive for the MIDI gear.
And it was really expensive. Interest.
Not so much the computer. So there was like C-Lab and Octamed, and they were just big pieces of hardware that you would,
SE.
plug a MIDI cable into, and it was like a kind of a some people might know what I'm referring to as like a tracker style of composing music, not so much like a notation.
Something that they can all remember. SENIN. the tracker style.
or MIDI notes and stuff like that. And I basically experienced creating music through the evolution of it, through
Evolution, progression.
into the computer age.
Yeah.
Which is crazy when I think about it, how fortunate I am to be able to see it from when it was just barely possible to now, you know, whereas like I see a lot of like, you know, younger people trying to get into music and they just have everything ready to go. Here's all the tools. Not to say that they're at a disadvantage there because they don't know the history, but it's just really interesting to see where it's kind of heading and where it's been and what worked, what didn't, and that kind of thing from
Progression, what worked, what didn't. Progression.
from the start.
That actually brings up, I was going to ask this.
Are we good, guys? Are we good?
Also the way he was talking about like the tools and stuff sounded like maybe TI,
Yeah.
like a slight hint of it, but it's not like a strong hit.
So, guys, we're gonna go ahead and eliminate ESTP, right? We're gonna go ahead and eliminate ISTJ, and because the fact is, this guy's concrete. Like, have you ever seen something that abstract that came from him? I haven't seen one statement that was abstract at all. He's in PC land. PC land. He's in PC land. PC's gone. Oh shit. All right, Pete. Zara, we gotta finish this up. PC's
All
gone.
right. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's gone. Okay. Let's try to end this up.
Later, but since we're on the subject, my producer or my project manager here is also a musician and a music producer, and he had a question for. His name's Elijah.
Sure.
And he just wanted to ask, how would you define making it in the music industry with the rise of technology? And then he goes on to say, pretty much anybody can make an album in their bedroom now.
Well, anyone could have for a long time.
Really?
I did. You know, my first album was done on a pre-Windows computer on a what was called a tracker. It's actually a software called Impulse Tracker, and maybe another one called Scream Tracker. But the idea was that they were both very similar pieces of software. They ran in DOS, and you would load samples.
Yeah, he's going into the mechanism behind it.
Yeah.
You know, into, you know, the computer and stuff like that, whereas like they were just like little wave files, or you'd load them to the sound card's RAM if you had any, which was a big deal back in the day.
Process.
And then, you know, might not have been the best music I've ever made, but you know, it was something, and it was really cool. But that was done in a bedroom.
Yeah, I think what
I think he's being like Grammy level.
Let's go ahead and end it. Yeah. I initially typed him. I actually initially typed this guy ISTP. Then I watched him from a different video, and I thought maybe he's ENTP. So I gotta apologize to Henley, and I'm be honest. Yeah, he's ISTP. This guy's ISTP. So go ahead and kill that out. And that's the thing, because the way he talks, you would think that he was informative initiating, but that's the reason why you have to go through and you have to like actually make sure what you're seeing. Because the fact is like when people talk, like it's a certain way or whatnot. So it can make you seem like especially their creative subtype, because I believe this guy's a creative subtype, and I think that's the reason why he's hammering in a little bit more on the informative side of things. But I do think that he is an ISTP. So guys, we got hit motive there. Fuck. Interesting. I really didn't think that. When I was first listening to the guy, I thought ISTP, but I thought maybe I was fucking smoking crack or something. Maybe I was fucking wrong. PC, yeah, we tightened ISTP, PC.
Okay.
What'd you end up thinking?
Yeah, man, he's probably just. Well, he was definitely an improviser.
Yeah.
But oh my god, man, I think the dude's on drugs.
Yeah, I think he's on drugs. But it's the simple fact that the difference between, like, you know, we were down to because it's progression, we're looking at ESTP or ISTP, and then clearly this guy's walking you through his mechanism to how he like gets through his process. And I think that's not superficial. And I think like if you're trying to evaluate somebody and you're trying to distinguish between ESFP and ISTP, the ISTP is going to be more on the data. Like they're going to be more hardcore on the data, right? ESFP going to be like, I just did this, I did this, and it ain't going to really make a lot of sense. It's not going to show you anything really long term. It's not going to show you like it's just bullshit. It's just bullshit, right? So I got me as an ISTP. I think me and Henry end up like coming to the conclusion that this guy's ISTP. It's just the concreteness that surprised me. It really surprised me because if he wasn't concrete, I think maybe it's an ENTP.
Well, we could always just do another video because that one might have actually been a bad sample.
Oh, you're gonna do another video?
I mean,
okay.
Yeah, maybe we could look up like more samples of the guy.
Let's just double check, man.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an enigma for sure.
Joe Rogan.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's kind of hard to get someone's interaction styles when, especially if they're on something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Look up "How Will I Know" Whitney Houston isolated lyrics. Love it. Use two hands, you freak. Type with one hand. I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Is that him?
Shit's taking forever. There's a bunch of chicken scratch on that.
Is that it?
No, I don't think it's him, bro.
No, I don't think so either.
And I thought it was it's the wrong guy.
Bonus podcast.
No, I think that's someone else.
Try this one.
What is up, everyone?
Skydiving comes later.
Oh, okay. That's the part 2, or if you wanted to like fly us around in your helicopter,
we could do that.
Pilot license.
Yeah, we should have filmed this in the air.
Because I know you guys, when you first came together, you created like these incredible records that still live on within the dance music scene. People can still play to this day and still kind of get the same feeling. What sparked you guys coming back together and trying to start this project?
I don't think it was like an inspiration. I think it was just like a product of, what are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of post-COVID lockdown. Like, hey, let's do something.
Right.
Not a whole lot's going on right now.
I got all these beats. What do you think?
Yeah, what are you doing?
That's the most nonchalant answer ever. Like, let me tell you how this started, because I was actually there in the beginning. So Ryan and I were in Amsterdam at ADE, and we ended up after, I don't know, we went out somewhere and we were in a hotel just having this conversation about our careers and our lives. And we were with Stephanie, and we were talking about, like, where am I going? And you and I have been spending a lot of time together, and it was just this, like, I need to get to the next level in this industry.
Progression.
And I literally brought up this because we at Beatport, Joel's music had just come on as DEADMAU5’s, I believe, and prior to that it was like BSOD, and Joel, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a couple of other little aliases that you were part of, but they all did really well. And I just remember talking to Stephanie and saying,
Stephanie's my manager at the time.
Yeah, sorry, I should have put some context in there. Yeah, and
I
was saying,
I was just going to say,
put more context in there. I mean,
sorry, just randomly dropping names in there. I didn't mean to do
just
that.
Stephanie walking by.
Yeah. So, no, but I said, I think you guys should try to work with DEADMAU5’s. And I don't know that was the moment, but I know that was the first time that I was around you guys and we brought this up. And it was like, I don't know, very soon after that you guys started working together. And it was just in my mind, it was the perfect marriage of this like lyrical genius and songwriting guy and this new sound with these big, like plucky, like progressive sounds that was brand new. There's very few artists that we've seen in 19 years of Beatport that come in with a brand new sound. Like, that's pretty hard to do. And Joel did. I mean, he just showed up with a different sound and it worked. And I just think, there was so much success to those tracks. They're literally like, if you're going to do a classic album of this dance music, like those tracks have to be considered because they were that influential and still are. And I know you guys probably hate playing them today, but they represent so much happiness to so many people. Like it's a big, I mean, it's kudos to you guys for writing those songs together.
I'm done.
But I think for me, watching you guys come back together was that.
Well, he's SENI-FESI. Like it is what it is. He is TI. He's TIFE and he's SENI and he's concrete. So you're looking at ISTP versus an ESTP, and we got too much progression from him. He's ISTP. Yeah, he's ISTP.
Actually, the fucking appearance difference. Yeah, I think the dude was on some drugs.
Dude, I mean, I can't really tell the difference. I mean, I think what it is that he's a creative subtype. Like honestly, like he's a creative subtype. Most ICPs probably not thinking that creative is DEADMAU5, right? So like that, the shout out to him. Like, I mean, he's an artist for a reason. So we're gonna hit him for creative subtype, right? Enneagram, I'm not too sure. Like, what do you guys think on an Enneagram?
Didn't really hear too much about that, man, to be honest.
To be honest, I'm thinking about either a 6 or a 7. I mean, you're hitting a 6 or a 7. I could see somebody
Actually, he doesn't really strike me as a 6. So maybe a 7, maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe an 8. You thinking maybe an 8? What do you think? 6, 7,
No,
8?
he doesn't really strike me as an 8. The only time he kind of looked like that was that first video. And I said, that just seems more like drugs.
So
you know what I mean?
So let's go 7W6, man. I'm gonna go 7W6. Fucking with PC. I fuck with PC on this one. And we're gonna go SP. I think it's SP, self-preserving. And I think he's /XX, sexual. I think he struggles with like the social aspects of life. But in general, I think if you're an ISTP, you learn a lot about this guy DEADMAU5. That like even though you're concrete, you can still be creative, right? I think he's been on top of the industry for a considerable amount of time. So that doesn't mean like just because you're concrete that you're set in stone for not being innovative, right? And that your subtype has a little bit more to do than you actually realize. Anything you guys want to say before this? PCs
There's not too much more to add. He's not the most typical ISTP you'll see around, but he's more creative, and I guess shout out to him, I guess, for his success and breaking through.
Yeah. So one thing I will say about typing this guy is like you really want to look at him all the way through and take away things that you're seeing 100%. So what me and Zara and PC were easy to see, like we could not distinguish that this guy was SENI. Like, so you remove SENI, you remove 8 types, right? And then on top of that, we're getting progression, right? This guy's progression mindseted. So that eliminates some types as well. And then pragmatic overall steps out. So with it being progression pragmatic, you only really you only have like a few types there. And then TIFE, in concrete, it's pretty much nails you down to ISTP every time for him. But like we said, like you want to go by the metrics that you're 100% certain of. Don't do things like, oh, I don't know, is he abstract? Is he whatever? Don't worry about that. Like look at what you're getting in a video. Like you're getting SENI and it's in an abundance. Okay, take that away and then eliminate the types and then go from there. And that's how you're gonna make sure that you get the most
process. Yeah, process of elimination, just like that kid's game of Guess Who.
Yeah.
Just knock down the ones that you know and the ones you don't, and just leave them there until the end.
Yeah.
Don't have to go looking for shit. Just eliminate the shit that you know is true.
And shout out to Henley. We fought with you, Henley. All right, guys, we're out of here. Anything you guys want to say before we out? Nothing?
Nope.
Peace.
Nope.
Nope.